Sean Strickland is absolutely blasting Khamzat Chimaev, and he believes Khamzat's inactivity is hurting the entire middleweight division. Strickland didn't hold back and had a lot to say about the UFC's situation with Chimaev and how the belt is basically stuck in limbo. Strickland said the whole situation is weird, especially with the UFC deal involving Chimaev. He pointed out that Khamzat is a guy who fights maybe once a year and compared him to a celebrity who doesn't really need to fight anymore. Strickland suggested that Chimaev is making so much money on the side that he has no real motivation to stay active. He even joked about how much money Chimaev might be getting under the table from powerful connections, saying the guy doesn't even need to step into the cage. He went on to say that Chimaev is best friends with some powerful people, and that he could easily just sit on the belt and wait forever until the UFC forces him to fight. According to Strickland, this kind of inactivity is terrible for the middleweight division, especially from a business standpoint. Strickland explained that, financially, fighters can actually make more money by staying active and not chasing the belt. He gave an example where Chimaev could fight Nassourdine in 6 months, then get injured, and take another year off. That would mean the belt is basically inactive for nearly 2 years. Strickland said at that point the belt isn't even in his mind anymore. He said that for him personally, he would rather keep fighting, even if it means taking a loss, because he would still make significantly more money. Strickland said he'd rather fight good opponents, take risks, and triple his paycheck instead of waiting around for a title shot that might never happen. He even joked about a scenario where Fluffy beats him, and then Fluffy would still have to wait a year and a half to fight for the title because of Chimaev's inactivity. Strickland said he personally doesn't care about waiting for a belt, he just wants his paycheck and wants to keep fighting. Strickland also mocked Chimaev's constant injuries, saying every time Chimaev fights, he suddenly has a mysterious injury. He joked about Chimaev showing x-rays and claiming his hand or shoulder is broken every time. Strickland ended by asking why anyone would wait around in a division where the champion barely fights. Next up, there was a wild rumor going around that the UFC asked Tom Aspinall to vacate his title, and this turned out to be complete chaos online. Josh Thompson posted a video claiming that he saw reports that the UFC asked Tom Aspinall to vacate the heavyweight title, and that Tom said he would be willing to vacate if the UFC released him from his contract. This rumor spread fast and caused a lot of confusion. According to these reports, the UFC supposedly asked Tom to vacate the belt until he was ready to fight again, and Tom allegedly said he would vacate the title if they released him so he could go box. This sparked a ton of speculation about Tom leaving the UFC and going to boxing, but the M&A community quickly called this out as fake news. Fans and analysts pointed out that the source of the report was not reliable at all. One user told Josh Thompson that the source he used was not trustworthy, and another user said he fell for fake reports that certain Twitter accounts post on purpose. The main source of the rumor was reportedly Rubin Carter, a guy known for inventing fake MMA stories. Rubin Carter has been called out many times for posting fake fight announcements and false information. He even posted 3 fake official fight announcements for Paddy Pimblett in the same week, which obviously turned out to be false. The community roasted Josh Thompson for falling for the rumor and told him to stop pretending to be a journalist. Many fans said he got baited hard and should be more careful about his sources. So yeah, the whole Tom Aspinall vacating the title situation appears to be completely fake, and the heavyweight division is still a massive mess. Now we have a serious update on Tom Aspinall's eye injury, and this situation sounds really concerning. A recent report detailed how Tom Aspinall is dealing with his eye condition following surgery, and the details are honestly scary. According to the article, Tom's glasses prescription has changed drastically, and he has needed 3 new pairs of glasses in just the past few months. Nearly 4 months after his surgery, Tom still can't track moving targets properly. His eyes hurt if he sends too many text messages, and he experiences vertigo if he changes direction suddenly. He even misses people's hands when trying to shake them. The article explained that he can no longer do the thing that gave him an identity since he was a child, and he struggles with basic training drills. Sometimes he even struggles to play with his kids, which is heartbreaking to hear. Tom has to ask people to drive him everywhere, and he has to rely on others to bring him home as well. The report said that the so-called baddest man on the planet sometimes feels like the family's 4th child because of how much help he needs. Tom himself said he currently has a black spot in his eye that is constantly there. The article also mentioned that things at home have been tough, especially as a husband and father of 3 children, one of whom is autistic. His wife has had to take on more responsibilities, and Tom can't run errands, pick up the kids from school, or drop them off in the morning. Evening activities and play dates are also difficult because they can't rely on him for transportation. Tom said he's not even thinking about fighting right now and is currently using 32 eye drops per day since his surgery. The same report also shut down the rumor about the UFC asking Tom to vacate his title, saying that no one from the UFC has contacted Tom or his team about vacating the belt or being removed from the roster. Moving on, Dricus du Plessis has said he wants a rematch with Khamzat Chimaev after losing the middleweight title in a one-sided fight. Dricus said fighting Khamzat again is exactly what he wants, and he's not expecting any surprises. He said Khamzat is going to fight the same way, and if Khamzat tries anything different, it would be a terrible night for him. Dricus acknowledged that Khamzat did what he had to do to win the belt, and he said you can't hate on him for that. He said it's the rules of the game and Khamzat played it perfectly. However, Dricus said it's now his responsibility to fix that and stop Khamzat from fighting his way again. He said he wants to force Khamzat into his style of fight and take the belt back. Next, Arman Tsarukyan and Jake Paul were spotted eating caviar in the snow, and the footage was pretty wild. Arman posted the video and showed them celebrating and joking around while enjoying the moment. Arman thanked Jake for having him and joked around during the clip, making it a funny crossover moment between MMA and boxing. Arman Tsarukyan also talked about wrestling with the MMA guru and gave him props for at least trying. Arman joked about how people think they can take him down, saying some fans truly believe they could wrestle him. He laughed and said people would have to be crazy to think they could take him down. He said the guru actually tried and gave him credit for stepping up and attempting it. Arman said they had fun, joked around, and made some crazy content together. Max Holloway also responded to Charles Oliveira ahead of their rematch at UFC 326, and he had a lot of respect for Oliveira. Max said Oliveira is a killer and acknowledged how much his striking has improved. He said Oliveira used to be known mainly for jiu-jitsu, but now he's a complete mixed martial artist. Max pointed out that many of Oliveira's recent finishes came from hurting opponents on the feet and then finishing them with submissions. He agreed with Oliveira's statement that he's evolved as a fighter. Max said Oliveira is dangerous everywhere from striking to jiu-jitsu, and he knows he needs to be smart and stick to his game plan. He said he plans to go in there, get in Oliveira's face, and do what he needs to do to get his hand raised. He also mentioned that a lot of people are tuning in to these cards now, and he plans to make new fans on March 7th. Max said defending the BMF title is amazing and that only certain fighters get chosen for it. He said he's excited to defend the title again and can't wait to show what he's been working on and introduce new fans to the sport. Alexander Volkanovski also reflected on his first fight with Islam Makhachev and said it was still one of the biggest moments of his career. Volkanovski said everyone knew how good Islam was back then, even before he built his current resume. He said moving up against a guy with Islam's style was seen as impossible, but he went out there and did what he did. He said many people thought he won that fight, and the experience was crazy for him, especially being pound for pound number one at the time. He mentioned how big the fight was in Australia and how it broke records in gates and pay-per-views. Volkanovski said the fight lived up to the hype and that it was one of the biggest moments of his career, even though he lost. Merab Dvalishvili also sent a hilarious message to Petr Yan with a new skit. Merab played a jacuzzi salesman and said since he doesn't have a fight right now, he's selling jacuzzis. He joked about sending Petr Yan a free jacuzzi so he could recover and they could have their trilogy fight as soon as possible. He told Petr to relax, invite his friends, and even joked about inviting ladies. Merab said he wants his belt back and joked about his new job as a jacuzzi salesman. Sharabulit also called out Ilya Topuria and said he thinks Ilya is overrated. Shara said Ilya is a good fighter, but questioned how he got to the title. He said Ilya had several fights against questionable opponents, and when he fought serious fighters, they were already worn out. He claimed Charles Oliveira and Alexander Volkanovski were not at their best, and that Max Holloway had taken a lot of damage in his career and slowed down. Joaquin Buckley also called out Ian Gary and said he would have knocked him out. Buckley said it would still be a good fight, but he believes he would finish Ian Gary. He said Ian is still trying to get a title shot and that there's good money in fights with Morales and JDM. He said it's good that Ian is trying to stay active and that he respects that. Buckley also said he wants to talk to Ian face to face and apologized for any misunderstanding, saying he didn't mean any harm. Muhammad Usman has been released from the UFC. Kamaru Usman's brother was removed from the UFC roster following a 30-month suspension from a failed drug test. He tested positive for testosterone and was not eligible to compete again until after April 19, 2028. The UFC decided to release him from the promotion. Alex Pereira has hinted that he may be moving to heavyweight next. Alex posted on Instagram with the caption 1, 2, 3, and go, and rumors are circulating that he might fight Ciryl Gane next. Nothing is official yet, but the speculation is heating up. Nate Diaz also made headlines after saying he would slap Charles Oliveira. Nate said he likes Max Holloway, but said he would slap Oliveira. Though he later apologized for the comment, he clarified that he wasn't talking about Max, but about Oliveira, and said it was rude and he shouldn't have said it. Nate said all respect and apologized for the comment, but said if they were fighting in a cage, he might attempt it. And that's going to wrap it up for today's MMA news. Thanks for watching. For daily MMA news and content, make sure to subscribe and click the bell icon so you don't miss any uploads. Here are the 3 top comments from the last video. The first comment says it's crazy that DC is frustrated about being tied to Jon Jones when his most recent video thumbnail is literally Jon Jones' face. The second comment says Buckley might be annoying, but he's real. And the third comment says Eddie claiming he had Mike in a guillotine while his family was landing body shots is hilarious. If you want to be featured in the next video, drop a comment below. And if you missed yesterday's news, click the video on screen right now to get caught up.